Okay, so I'm on Amber's team. I started in October. I've had 3 cases since October, and every single one I've joined has been going on for a while, and then as soon as I join it, it ends. I think it's me.
He's the closer.
So the first case I had 2 boys, and we ended up going with permanent guardianship, which is something DFACS isn't allowed to suggest. So that was really cool. I got to have a direct impact. I got to see something, like tell the judge what I thought, rather than just going along with DFAC's recommendation. They're just not allowed to say so. It's not in their laws. The second case, he is currently on a trial period with his parents, so that's good. It's moving in the right direction. Hopefully everything will go well in that case. So that case is still going on, but might be wrapping up soon. And then this new case I actually just started today. I just met them. Everything seems to be going well, so if this one ends quickly too, that'd be awesome.
So what would you say is rewarding for you? Let's start with rewarding.
So for me, the first case that I had that I was with for a very long time, the 2 boys, their case closed months ago, but I still maintain contact with them. I still talk to their mom very frequently. So knowing that it could have been something, and it was a very traumatic and terrifying experience for them, but knowing that I was at least one of the people to make sure that they were okay, and they know that, and they're young, so it's interesting and it's crazy to see just a young child that doesn't care about anything other than you were the person that was always there.
I think that's one thing that we are the consistency that these children need. Even if they're placed with family, their family is upset. And so I think one of the most important things is building relationships and being non-judgmental. And if you can follow through on all of that, you will win the trust of that child. And again, I think the most rewarding thing to me is when you go to do your visit and that child comes up and gives you a hug, and it's just, again, that consistency makes a difference. And the one that I've got right now that's going for adoption, he's absolutely adorable. It's a little 8-year-old boy. I've had it for 2 years. And when I went to the school for the first time, we had only met a couple of times at his home where he was living. But I got to the school to make an appointment to see him, and he came up to the office and he goes, oh, I know you, so it was really fun. And these children are, you just have to be patient, and but very rewarding, I think.
So for me, I would echo what you said, my dear, and that is that our DFACS workers, the children's lawyers, everyone is working very, very hard to look out for what the best interest of the child is. You do start to build that relationship and bond with the folks that are responsible for so many children. And because I'm only working one case at a time, I can provide that continuity. In my case, it's not for the child, but it's really for mom. In my case, there were certain situations where DFACS was trying to put in referrals to make sure that she was getting the services and support that she needed, and it just wasn't moving along. And so as the advocate for not only the child but also for mom, I was able to really push for, hey, these are services that this person needs. She's going through a grieving process. She really needs support through counseling, or can we figure out why all of a sudden she no longer has insurance for her child, or all those things that like DFACS is trying to follow up on but doesn't necessarily have cycles for. You can kind of do those follow-ups. I worked a lot with my DFACS worker to make sure that I could ask him, hey, what's something that you don't have time to follow up on that I can do for you? You're gonna get like kind of like a court order that makes you kind of invincible. You get like an S on your chest and you can do whatever you need with it. and having that and being able to kind of advocate for your families to make sure that the child is getting the care they need, but also the people involved with that child are getting the care that they need is really, really rewarding to see them actually taken care of, and that the state provides that support, because they often don't know. So you're gonna be that link between what the state can provide them and the needs that they have. So I think that was really, really rewarding.
So I have a little bit of a different experience. So I'm only at my first case, so I really only have like that one experience to go off of. But one thing that I've noticed is I've been able to build a really good relationship with the foster parents, because I don't really have a lot of contact with the birth mom. So a lot of it's going through the foster parents because the baby is medically fragile. It's been a lot of like dealing with medical stuff and everything that goes along with that. But it's to the point now where every time I go over, the baby, she actually gets really, really excited to see me, even though she's only like 8-9 months old. I'm one of the people that she's seen since she was pretty much born. So that's really cool that she actually recognizes me and gets excited. And the foster parents will ask me about my life and how everything's going. And one thing that I've noticed, I'm sure you guys have heard horror stories about defects workers and how busy they are. And so I have one of those defects workers where she is a phenomenal woman, but she just has so much going on. It takes her maybe 4 or 5 business days to respond to emails. So there was actually a incident where she was not on the same page with the foster parents as far as visits and how they were affecting the baby. And so I was actually able to talk to the foster parents. They were able to tell me what was going on, and they're like, hey, we're noticing this, but we're not seeing it reflected. So I was able to actually go to the caseworker and be like, hey, I don't know where the miscommunication is, but this is what we see going on. And we were able to kind of all sit down and figure out, like, okay, this is where we need to go going forward. So it was actually seeing myself, like, make a difference in her life. Like, that was pretty cool.
And so before you start, Josh, so remember we talked about monitoring and facilitating and advocating. So even in everything that everybody has said so far, you hear those things, those practices being done, right? Okay, good. All right.
So I guess I get a little bit different of enjoyment than the other 4 do. For me, it's connecting with the kids, but it's that first time I meet them and seeing if I can get them to trust me. So if I can get them to trust me, to come tell me everything that's going on and how school is, I don't care if they tell me they hate school, but they're telling me something. And they're telling me something without me having to ask because they get used to it. And for me, that's the enjoyment. The fact that these kids trust me enough, a complete stranger, that they trust me that I have what's best for them. And then I've mostly dealt with grandparents, or the foster parents I've dealt with, so that's pretty interesting too. Seeing being the generation gap between the kids that I've done 8 and 9-year-olds and their 60 or so year old grandparents, like being that bridge to help them work things out, like whether it's disciplinary or school or even just what the kids want to do, explaining why Minecraft is so cool to a kid, things like that.
Yes.
But it's like the enjoyment for me. So not so much the paperwork. The paperwork's not fun for me. But you have to do that in order to help the kid. And that's what I do.